So imagine I'm able to do something pretty amazing. I'm able to give you 4 more hours per week. I just grab 4 hours out of the sky and I give them to you. You're a farmer. Nobody else gets them but you. What do you do with those 4 hours? How do you invest that time? You work a lot. You often work alone. Do you spend that time working on something else? That's what we're talking about in this episode of The Granary. On a farm, the work's never really done. We're calling the day anyway, because my friends from XtremeAg are coming over. You ready for a conversation with some real farmers about real issues? And the best part, you're invited. So pour yourself a drink, grab a snack, most importantly, pull up a chair. Welcome to The Granary. Hey guys. All right, I'm going with you, Temple. I give you 4 more hours per week. You got 4 hours. Nobody else has them, just you. What are you going to do with those 4 hours?
Just me or my whole team?
Just you.
I'm going to take a nap. I mean, I'm tired. I'm exhausted at the end of every day, every week, but I still get up 4 o'clock in the morning every morning because honestly, it's not that I can't sleep. I just look forward to going back to work every day. And I look forward to that morning where I have a few minutes of peace and quiet where we go to the shop. You know, if I'm working on something in the shop, I can work on it a little bit. Or if I got some office work to do, I definitely look forward to that time by myself in the morning before everybody shows up. So I get those 2 hours every morning, maybe 3 hours every morning where I'm by myself. You know, Alexander, he comes in, he'll be there between 4:45 and 5. You know what I mean? So I get 45 minutes to an hour without him there. Not that that's a good thing, but maybe to spend a little bit more time with my family would be probably where I would go with its 4 hours. I was joking about taking a nap, but I mean, maybe an hour.
You're not a very good sleeper. You wake up in an alarmingly early time frame to begin with. Maybe you don't need these 4 hours. Tommy, I give you 4 more hours. Wait a minute. I give you these 4 more hours. Are you going to take a nap? I'm not.
No, I'm not a nap guy, but who was saying, I think our football coach was saying this, Texas Tech's football coach. So there's a proven studies that if you're going to take a nap, it has to be 30 minutes or less, or you greater than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That 30 minutes to an hour and a half, if you're in that time period, you might as well just give up and not do that.
Let me tell you something about taking a nap.
By the way, he didn't say he's going to take you a 4 hour nap. He said he gets 4 hours a week, so that could be 30 minutes a day.
I could fit that in. I could still get 3.5 hours.
Yeah. All right.
This is why I don't take naps. So let's just go back to that for a minute. So back when I was a kid, I was young, and I'll never forget, I think it was like maybe a 4440 or something, and we were knifing anhydrous, side dressing anhydrous. And back to, you know, how things have changed. You know, at the end of the day, Matt, you said, you know, I've got this time to this time, you know, this new generation, they got that time, and when that time's over, they're gone, where it didn't used to be like that for us. Well, that's how my dad was. We were knifing anhydrous, and I was tired. I mean, I was tired. I was exhausted. There was a rain coming. And of course, you know, corn's this high, and he wanted to make sure all of it got side dressed, all of it. Because if we get that rain, it might be this high when we get back. And then he's going to freak out. So I got so tired I couldn't stand it. And I leaned back in the seat, you know, propped my feet up on the steering wheel or on the window, took a nap. And I woke up with him beating the shit out of me. Maybe not beating the shit out of me, but it scared me enough that I don't know that I can close my eyes in the daylight anymore. And the first thing he said, you can sleep when you die. And I'll never forget that. You know, and that's, I'm not saying he beat work ethic into me, but it makes you realize that, you know, time is valuable.
So if we work smarter and not harder, then those 4 hours plus 4 hours, it may be 8 hours.
Yeah.
That we get back. And yes, I would agree with, I guess, priority number one, which it not often is, should be spend more time with your spouse, going out to dinner, children, you know, doing date nights, and that's what it should be.
So you would spend 4 more hours. If I give you 4 more hours, I pull them out of the sky, I give them to you, you're going to spend them mostly on family, or all on family.
I should.
What would you do?
Probably,
I should.
I should.
What would you do?
Okay. By the way, you can divide them up. 24 hours divides very evenly, even with Texas Tech math. It divides very evenly. It could be 4 different things. For 1 hour, it could be 8 different things for 30 minutes each. Anyway, go ahead.
I should, and I will stake claim that yes, I would, because I travel a lot. I mean, during the summer I'm gone, during the winter I'm gone. So yes, it would definitely be spend more time with wife.
So the 4 hours would all be on family and personal, especially spouse, because you're busy with your career. I give you 4 more hours back. I grab 4 hours out of the sky. I give them to you. Nobody else has them, just you. How you going to use them?
I'm going to overanalyze this, I know, but I'm going to take those hours depending on the time of year. Okay. So I'm definitely going to, during planting season and harvest season.
Is he getting ready to allocate stuff like he
I'm
does
allocating
fertility?
this.
So he's allocating this just like he does fertility.
He's going to reallocate this 4 hours.
Yeah, I got to go third, so I got to listen to everything you are saying.
That's such bullcrap.
So during planting season and harvest season, I'm probably going to use them on a farm.
Okay, you're going to use them. You're going to use them toward the business during the heavy season because you already feel like you don't have enough hours to begin with. Then
that's right. Yeah. And then I'm going to take the rest of those hours and I'm going to do exactly what they're doing. I like the nap deal. When I
didn't do that.
When
Kelly told me he takes a nap every day.
I heard that,
but he also doesn't do a lot.
Well, so when I grew up, my dad we didn't work on Sundays, so I had Sundays to do whatever. So you worked 6 days, and you had that 7th day to do whatever you want to do. Yeah. So I got plenty.
Very traditional.
Very, very yes, especially in the Bible Belt. So I got to take a nap on Sundays. When I was growing up and I was young, I had Sundays, so I took a nap and I spent the rest of the time with my family. In today's world, I'm guilty of, Sundays, if we're planting or harvesting, I'm probably at the farm. The whole crew's at the farm.
I'm sure.
But I would allocate those at different times, just like I do stuff on my farm.
All right, let's be honest. All right, there's about 4 weeks and 4 weeks where it's really heavy, and I'm not being mean. I'm not judging. You're talking, there's 2 months. I got 10.
The other 10.
What are you going to do with the other 10 months of 4 hours a week that you got and ain't nobody else got it?
100% family.
Family time.
Mm-hmm. Because we lack on that as farmers anyway, and probably Tommy does too. I'm not going to say Mr. Tommy does too, because every time I call him, he's somewhere besides home. He's never at home. So I think in the ag industry, it's a little different than other industries. Maybe, maybe not be. I don't know. I've never been in another industry.
Maybe you need to maybe we all need to reallocate our time and take, our kids now, let's just say that we're all empty nesters now at this time of our life. Because we are.
You're not quite. But
I'm not quite. I'm close.
He is. He's pretty much close. You're not quite.
But maybe we would need to reallocate and we take 2 hours and we add to our business, take the other 2 hours, and we start redeveloping our relationship with our wife. You know what I mean? That's going to make our entire family better. I told you I'm starting to go out on these date nights. I've changed. And to be honest with you, it's been great for us. I told you, I get off the combine or get off the tractor after dark and I don't keep running. And then I've drove to Ocean City and spent the night with my wife down there. I've done a bunch of different things that I've never done before, and it has completely changed our life where we help each other. And when I say completely changed, it's gone so far that it's absolutely changed the harvest crew, everybody else, because I don't know, maybe I'm happier, maybe she's happier, maybe it's just overall morale. And overall morale means a lot when you get to a stressful situation when you're in harvest.
The crew got better, the operation got better, and the mood got better because of you reallocating time, is what I just heard.
That's exactly right.
Are you saying things flow downhill?
Things flow downhill, buddy.
Well, see, I'm opposite of that. So, my wife's my best friend. I'm not saying that yours isn't. I'm just saying that my wife's my best friend, but she grew up straight up ag. So there's been times when we've had hurricanes. When we know a hurricane's coming in the Gulf, we're going to be midnight to 2 o'clock every night.
Yeah, but that's reallocating.
Well, I'd get to a point at midnight where I'd be like, I remember one time we were weighing trucks and she was in there helping me. And I said, man, I'm about ready to shut everybody down. I'm spent. She's like, it's a hurricane coming, brother. He ain't shutting down. we're going to run to 2 like we've been doing all week.
Everybody's traditionally.
Her and my dad would get along real good.
Her and your dad's a lot alike.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm married to a man, but in all honesty.
Yeah, sometimes traditionally, especially the industry we're in, and you think it's always the farmer, and then historically the man comes to your mind that's hardworking. Sherry Kay's a farmer, and by God, it's go time. It's go time.
Yeah, I mean, to the point, sometimes she would redirect me.
Yeah.
When I'd get to lazy ass and want to do something different.
We should tell you sleep when you die.
She hasn't told me that yet, but I've felt that sometimes, honestly.
We'll throw it out there. You're in a different role. I'm not a farmer. You're not a farmer. We work in the industry. I've been a farmer. We get it. These guys are farmers. They get told about how hard they work. And obviously, that hurricane's coming and there's crop to get in. There's also times when it's not really that much of a bump. You and I don't get that credit. There's going to be people that listen to this and say, well, farmer needs 4 more hours because he works so much. You don't. And I kind of call bullshit on that, because you didn't get to where you are with your career by not putting in a lot of smart and hard work.
To the detriment of, my family saw it. I mean, we talked earlier about ball games. I mean, there's ball games I missed. There's concerts I missed, but, you don't get to where you are today without hard work.
You guys have been good, and I made that point at one of our dinners that work is work. It's different. It's not digging ditches. It's not baling hay. I've done those things. Being on a stage doesn't look like work until they tell you you're on stage next. It starts to look like work. Work is different. If I got 4 more hours, I wouldn't spend it working. But when you ask the question, you went to work and reapportioned it some of the time. Then you went to family, straight to family. You went to family, you went to family. Does it make you think that now we're all old enough and reflective enough that what we're really saying is we've sacrificed some family time because of our work ethic?
100%. And Temple and I have talked about this a lot of times, and I've told him he works harder than I work. So he will spend, when I'm going somewhere with my wife and doing something, when it's not that important to be at the farm, he's paying a quick hitch.
Yeah.
He's doing something that probably he shouldn't be doing. And I've actually told him that
He's yelled
face
at me
to
about,
face.
Yelled at me.
You need to quit what you're doing.
Yeah,
you need to carry your ass to the beach with your wife.
See your kids and do all that.
It's a balance. It's 100% balance to make everyone happy. And it don't matter if you're doing what you're doing, or he's doing, or I'm doing. You have to balance you have to balance your job and your family and make it all work at one time.
You're pretty good at that. I'll give you credit for that. And you kind of see it from the outside looking in. I mean, how many times have we had that argument? And I told you, I'm like, I'm not doing it. And he yelled at me. He was like, you're going to do it. And I did it. And it made things better. And it starts to make you realize how much time that you lost. And you can't make up lost time. So you got to be careful of that.
So, like you said, hours don't come back. We're going to be gone someday. Hours don't come back. They're burned. They're burnt.
But in a farming situation, and so I pick my times. I pick my battles.
Sure.
So when we're planting or harvesting, I'm not available. We got in this hour. We got this conversation.
Me and him got a kind of argument.
Today, he's still harvesting and I'm done. If I was still harvesting, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
He's here. So he's learned that. But I don't take a summer vacation. I take a winter vacation because that's when it's slower. And I'll take my whole family. It costs more money.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to go somewhere where it's warm, which is definitely not in the United States most of the time.
Yeah.
But you just got to pick your battles to win the war. That's the way I've always looked at it.
Go ahead.
2 things I want to say. So I grew up in a farming family. We always took summer vacation because we were dealing with corn and milo and hay.
And now you've ruined that for all the farmers because you say, don't go to the beach, stay there and chase your crop.
So
You single-handedly ruined that.
Fertilizer out.
I live in Texas, and we'd always go to hotter environment, which would be South Texas or Florida, to the beach. So I had a self-fulfilling prophecy happen not too long ago, is that when one of your kids says, I understand what you did now because of what I have to do now in work.
Exactly.
That
That'll kill you.
You want to, but
That
you want
made
a
it.
war.
Well, it's the old, I mean, from Harry Chapin's song that makes people bawl about cats in the cradle on down. There's that thing of when you're coming home, Dad. Well, Dad wasn't a bad guy. He was doing that because he was a good guy supporting the family. And when you ask this question, I give you 4 more hours. You kind of said work, but situationally, most of you went to family because we have work ethics, and that's intrinsic to agriculture. We want to get the crop in, we want to get the crop out, we want to do this, do this.
I'm going to say the majority of the farmers are in the ag industry, which y'all are. If you ask them what's one thing they'd feel most guilty about, it would be not spending time with their family. Yep. At the end of their life, when it's all over, if the good Lord said, "Hey, what did you? What was your biggest mistake?" It would be not spending time with family.
Would kind of. I'm a backup, Tommy. And it does. It hurts you.
Oh, it does.
It get to you. I'm choked up now. But last year, my daughter Madeline, she shows nationally, and she shows all across this country. She showed probably.
Incidentally, the person watching this doesn't know your daughter beef showing. She's got show steers, etc. So she goes,
and she does very well. And she's got a bunch of guys, and she's made tremendous relationships with guys, just like we have in the ag industry. With what we were doing out on the ground.
She's getting married to a show jock.
I hope not. Smoke cigarettes, drink beer.
Wranglers.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So she hit me with something last year, and she's like, "Dad, I want you to go to one show with me, and I need you this time," because I always help her fit cattle and stuff. And she goes, "I need you." And I'm like, "Madeline, you'll be all right. You got all these other people." And she goes, "I've been to like 15 major shows this year, and you haven't made one of them."
Just tear up.
I know.
You asked the question. I posed this when I wrote a business book because, and it was geared to small or self-employed people, which you both are, you not so much, that we always think our time, we got to maximize our time for our money. And then if I gave you 4 more hours, and usually when you ask most people, the answer when they say, "Okay, you give me 4 more hours, I'm going to do this," it's the thing that they know or even feel guilty that they're not doing.
That's what
reading to better my career, spending more time with my family. It's generally those things that they feel they're not obligating enough. And that's probably where we got here. And it doesn't mean that you're mad, but it actually, I think, is a good reflective moment to look at and say, maybe I should I have those 4 hours. I ain't gonna pull them out of the sky. Damien's question was you laughed when I asked the question, but now it makes you think, I can't pull them out of the sky, but I got those 4 hours.
Well, that's what I was saying in an earlier episode with the next generation. Lane has figured out how to take those 4 hours that I couldn't take. I didn't feel like I could take because my dad didn't take them. Same thing with you. Probably the same thing with you. We didn't feel like as these generations, get further along, I think there's more importance to family than there is to work. That's what we talked about last week.
I don't know if anybody at this table is going to fault that.
Yeah.
Are you?
No.
Are you?
No.
You can't. I mean,
Dad always said, he's like, don't ever go through life asking yourself, what if? It doesn't matter what that applies to. What if you took those extra 4 hours and you reallocated them? You don't need it. It's not a gift from God. You're not giving it. You can do it yourself. You can take those 4 hours and you can reallocate them somewhere in your life. What if you did that? What if?
I will tell you that I've started as I've gotten older, and Temple knows this. I work less in the last, now I've got Lane that's taken over and he's starting to, do the things I've done. But I feel guilty. So if I take off an hour early from the other guys to go out to eat with my wife, then I feel stupid because I'm not there. So there's a guilt factor that comes along with doing that. If that makes sense.
And I mean, I've never been able to, we've bought and renovated houses and properties, and if there's a workman out there, I feel like I have to be out there. And my wife says, most people would just sit and watch TV while the workman said, well, that ain't me. So it's not the same thing. I think that we wonder about the 4 hours because we think we should be working, and then we actually have this.
You know how many times I've been told in my life, not by several people, well, you write their check. You can do what you want to. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the way I was raised. No. If they're there, I'm there.
And that's not completely the topic. Back to the hours thing. We have the 4. Well, first off, we can't magically create 4.
Right.
So we got them. And
I'd love to have them, though.
And you're smarter about it as you get older than you were probably when you're younger. But maybe not. There's a lot of 25-year-olds that are pissing away their 4 hours.
What you need to ask us is what would our dads do with 4 hours?
What would your dad do with 4 hours?
He would... go on another cruise, or he would watch a few more episodes of Rifleman. And
that's as a retired man.
Yes.
As a younger man.
No, when he was our age, or
he'd be out in the field.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's the way I grew up.
85 years old, and I gave him his 4 more hours when I was just at your farm last month, and he was in the field. He'd work more. He'd work more.
They all would.
More.
My dad,
but I will tell him when he got older,
work more.
When he got older, he spent a lot more time with mom than he used to.
Yeah,
I would agree.
He did do that.
It seems like our age as you get older, and you're getting older, so you're starting to change. You're 51, 53, so you're 2 years.
He gave you 2 extra years.
Almost 3 years younger than me, and you're
that much better.
You're starting to do what I've done. You know,
tell me how you laugh that off.
You make fun of me a lot because you're like, well, you do this or that. 3 years ago, you didn't know me as well.
No, you were just like me.
You know, and so as you get older, you realize there's more things important than if you get another 20 or 30 acres planted a day, 100 acres.
And by the way, every person that gets to a certain age says, you know, I might be dying, and the one thing I never wish is that I'd work more and all that. We get that. But, you know, it's hard to tell a young person. You go and tell Alexander who's 25. You go and tell Lane who's 30. You go and tell your, I don't know, whichever kid of yours is about that age. If they're driven, they don't think about that 4 hours. I think it takes a certain amount of reflection and experience to get to where you even contemplate the 4 hours. Is that an accurate statement?
I think so. My parents have, they have made better use of their time than, say, when I was growing up, because they never, we'd go, if we could afford it, we'd go on a summer vacation. But now, say over the last 20 years, they spend more time together, whether it's at home, whether it's cruises or going different places. So they've made better use of their time.
As they got older.
Because they realize time is fleeting and they only got so much of it. Your dad apparently just wants to work. Are you going to do that when you're 85? Are you going to want 4 more hours to work? It looks like you're already at age 53 reversing the trend.
You start to realize somewhere along the line the mold has to be broken. And I'm not saying he's got a bad mold.
That's cool.
Because the man's got a bad-ass mold.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. You have to break the mold because you lead by example.
Yeah.
And I don't want my kids to go through what I've been through and what he's been through. So if you break the mold and show them that quality of life can be shown right here. And if I can show you quality of life, things get a lot better in your business, your career, everything else. It all flows down there.
So we're not going to, these 4 hours aren't magically going to appear, but I guarantee you everybody at this table can say how much time is wasted in a week. I guarantee it'd be more than 4 hours.
Look on your phone. It'll tell you how many hours you spend on social media.
I know.
That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
But you think about our lives, and our life here is very short compared to hopefully where we're going next. But if I die today, there's going to be a lot of people sad. And they're going to roll along there and they're going to be sad for a week, maybe 10 days. And then somebody's going to take whatever farm ground Lane can't farm. And somebody's going to do this. And in 2 or 3 months, I'm probably not even going to be remembered other than my direct family.
Yeah.
So we need to be looking more at a legacy than we do.
A legacy.
Yeah, because we think we're really important and we're really like working and making this work. And in the scheme of things, 6 months later, everybody's going to be gone. The funeral's going to be over. And
but about a year after, nobody remembers whether you spent that 4 hours with your wife or you spent that 4 hours in that track.
But your family will.
Your family will. But there's something I've never done here. I'm going to ask myself the question because you guys didn't. I'd probably read a little bit more. And what's interesting is I already read a lot. I read more than most anybody, because most people don't read. And I've gotten better also on the 4-hour thing because I started realizing, you've worked since you were 8 when they put them bottles in your hands and you had to go out there and learn to make up milk and feed them calves. I started getting better about the 4-hour thing myself, realizing I got it. I got them. And you know what? I've been putting in the hours since I was an 8-year-old kid. I'm going to start doing them. So I think it's important to do that. And I still ask myself the question, if I already got the 4 hours, we're not going to magically appear like you say, where are you going to put them? And I've been thinking about that a lot. I've been thinking about this for 6 years. Probably you.
I thought he was going to say therapy.
Well, there's always.
We probably all need that.
All right. So we asked the question, if I gave you 4 more hours per week, where would you put it? We can talk about it being a point in life thing, but it's a point in everybody's life thing. It doesn't matter what age you are. If I gave you 4 more hours, where would you utilize those hours, invest those hours? Because as we already heard from our friend Temple, time is limited for all of us. We hope that you enjoy these kinds of conversations. That's why we're here at the Granary, and we want you to always pull up a chair, pour yourself a drink, grab a snack, and be part of the conversation. So check out other great episodes of the Granary. You know what? The Granary is brought to you by Nachurs. This episode is, at least. Our friend Tommy Roach right here with Nachurs. You can go to nachurs.com and check it out. BioK fortified products is what they specialize in. That's fertility. Temple had great success with that. We showed that in this field day. You can go and check out all that at the XtremeAg.farm website, where we have literally a library of hundreds of videos of all the stuff that we've done. We took a little departure with this whole series about the Granary because you know what? You deserve it. So make sure you come back and check us out again at this very table with my friend Temple, Tommy, and Matt. Thank you.